So we rushed the bus because, you know, they didn't lock the cells when I was there, but we had all this stuff. A priest came and taught us how to smoke. I mean, it was just a really interesting, and we were so naive. We were like, what do you mean we're not going to get our ID badges? We want our ID badges. We want to have our little prison badge. And then when I went to Dixon, Illinois, they had already hired me as the only African American, but they hadn't asked a lot of questions. So I'm there. I go down to personnel, and Miss Maggie Tag is what they called her. And she said, have you ever been in jail? I said, yes. And everybody in the room, because I was there black, and they were like, oh, what? And I had gotten on a bus and come back, so they knew I couldn't go. And they said, and then I said, well, I was in the King Marches. And she said, okay, is there a record of that? And I said, well, I didn't do the photo ID, to my dismay. And she said, well, maybe you don't have a record. And it turned out, I guess they purged the records because they had a law for the Department of Mental Health. You could not have a criminal record, a criminal background. So,
Did any of you other ladies, were you involved in the protests or marches? Or
yes, in our little town of Lawrenceville, the theater, whites sat on the ground level. We went upstairs.
Yep.
And the students there decided this is totally unfair. So we had a march downtown Lawrenceville. And when you participate in the march, you probably felt this, you just feel like your inside out is turned out. I mean, you just like everything you got is just out there.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen, and it's like you have exposed yourself to everything, you know. And so we marched. And within a very short period of time, the movie theater closed and has been closed ever since.
Wow. Oh my God.
And that was around I graduated in 62. That was around 1960, 61.
Wow.
Wow.
And the town has continuously dried up since then to now. It's just, there's nothing there.
Nothing there. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, say something about
once the integration came, it was pretty smooth. As I said, in that state, part of the state, there were not a lot of blacks. As I told you, that it was like my high school, all these counties, it was like 5 counties that went to that one high school, and it was never over 500 kids.
Yeah.
So you know,
small.
So when time to integrate, it was kind of smooth because we weren't intimidating or we weren't overwhelming because we were so few.
Yeah. But when you all came up here, you were all professional women, and it's still, I mean, you still couldn't like go to the country clubs or what did you all do to?
Well, there wasn't much to do because this area was very, very rural. Very rural. We had one theater up in Woodbridge, Marumsco Plaza.
Was it desegregated?
Okay. It was
Featherstone.
No, it's in Marumsco Plaza.
Oh, the movie. Yeah, the movie was.
Yeah,
right.
It was. And very few restaurants. There was one McDonald's up on Route 1, which is still there, but has been remodeled many times since.
Yeah.
And, you know, no Applebee's or any of the restaurants that are here now. No mall. The only shopping center was Marumsco Plaza. And, but we could pretty much go to, you know, go in McDonald's and sit down and, you know, those kinds of things there. This was in around 1965, I think. See, my husband was hired in the county before I was. He actually taught in the segregated school in Manassas. Jeannie Dean was the school at that time, and they brought in students from different counties, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, all those counties, and there was a boarding school. It was a boarding school.
This was the Manassas High School.
Yes.
The industrial school.
So he taught there.
He taught there along with Fanny. That's how I met Fanny.
Okay.
And this was around 1963, 64.
Okay.
And they taught together. And the school is still there, but it's no longer the combination school. It's now a middle school, right?
There is a replica there on the ground.
Most black high schools then were were before they became the public high schools. They were boarding schools. My in-laws went to the same school I went to as boarders. They were boarders. But Craig back on Glorine coming to what did we do? When I came here, it was 1971, and there were not many blacks, especially professional blacks. And every time you would see somebody, you would gravitate to them. You go and introduce yourself. And then that's actually how Glorine and Fanny and I, but I already knew Glorine, but and several other ladies became friends. 4 of them decided we were going to form a club.
Yeah.
And that's how we started Women in Community Action.
Okay, let's stop there.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about Women in Community Action.
Okay.
Okay, just let it run through again.
Yeah, how many minutes?
It's got 35 seconds.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my doctor pen.
How you got there? Joyce, how you doing?
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I still want to leave him. I want to spend some time.
Oh, this
Okay,
is an
is it
interesting conversation, isn't it?
20 more seconds.
You know, it's
Let's
interesting.
see, I'm the
because
baby of the bunch.
You are the baby.
But we talk well.
But I do want to get back to something that you're doing in terms of this whole African heritage, looking for